Bachelor God, a book on absolute reality, by Alfred Aiken. Chapter 1. The Single One. In the broad sense, he who is single, without a helpmeet or mate, unattached, non-dependent, alone, unmarried, celibate, is a bachelor. Yes, he is a bachelor who does not unite with another, weld himself to another, depend upon or look to another in order to be whole, entire, complete, indivisible, sole, inseparably one, alone, single. Infinity alone is single, one, alone, sole, all. Infinity is reality, God, good, life, love, existence. Infinity being itself is absolute being. I, Omnipresence, which is unrelated, unassociated, unconnected with another, incapable of being one of two or more. Infinity, Omnipresence, being the only I that is, includes its universe of ideas, things, thoughts, but does not bring these ideas, thoughts into being for another, or via a productive mating with another, associating therewith, not by self-division, subdivision, separation, or evolution. Infinity is entirety, goodness, life being, itself, I, but it is never one of the items, thoughts, ideas, things it conceives, perceives, includes. It never takes unto itself an opposite, a helpmeet, a partner, an employee. Infinity is truth, changeless reality, singular all, beside whom there can be naught else. Yes, dear reader, God, the sole self that is I, is bachelor, unmated, single, unique, entire, now and forever. Considering the generally accepted viewpoint, do you have a single God, a single identity, a single spirit, soul, I? Do you have a single good, a single life, or is your sense of good diversified, multiple? That is, can it be divisible, separable? Can it be affected by otherness, time, change? Can it wear out, grow old, become insufficient? Is your sense of truth, good, as variable as your so-called human sense of possession and evaluation of things? Yes, the would-be human sense believes in duality, dimension, composition, that this is good, that is bad, the other thing is fair. Because of this shifting and limited sense of good, the senses are constantly seeking to add things to an already cluttered potpourri. They assume that things being good, the more things you have, the more of good, the more of self you have, the more power, authority, wealth. To the human sense, good is not single, but plural, multiple. Good is only good when followed by the letter S, goods. These goods, those goods, other goods, this type of goods, that type of goods, imported and exported goods. In reality, there are not goods many. There is but one good, one God, mind, soul, love, life, identity, and that being is individual, single, the only one I am, but it is always truth being itself that is I. No other exists, for there is but one single infinity, one single all. This one I is all the good, all the spirit, life, existence, substance, being there is. It is not wed to or even in contact with another, to an equal, superior, inferior. Truth is not wed to anything, anybody, anywhere. Good is totally single, single totality. It forever is alone, entire. It forever is pure, unadulterated, uncontaminated, unconnected, unattached. It is forever all, and there can be naught beside. This is the sole identity, the sole being that is one, that is the individual being I. Perception is spelled with a capital letter as consciousness, awareness. Perception is a synonym for truth, life, love, all being itself I. Perception is not an attribute. It is not a quality. It is not a qualification, a condition of infinite intelligence. Perception is being omni-actively functioning as existence itself, awareness, the sole substance inclusive of its universe of thoughts. No, perception is not qualified, not conditional, not present in part. It cannot be broken down, cannot be divisible, cannot be separable, hence cannot need mating, completing, evolving. Being already entire, truth, the self, I am, cannot have a goal set before it, a destiny to be filled, a road to travel, a purpose to spur it on, a reproduction to occupy its attention, a satisfaction to be contemplated or experienced at the end of a long journey, which will be its crown, its reward for bearing a cross. Reality is not a thing that truth can lay off, or that it can lay on. Reality is not an idea, an item, or thing that intelligence can acquire, or that I can cling to. Perception, awareness, consciousness, all meaning the one self, the infinite single one, I am, does not come via an organ, nor is it a net result of an organ, organization, effort, energy, or illumination. Conscious awareness, perception, life alive to its own full being, is truth being itself, I. Perception is unchanging awareness, your very I identity, the I that I am. It is not waiting for the adoption, for a completing. It is whole already. You cannot be divorced or separated from it. It is life omniactively conscious, purity wholly complete, all, and there is no more, no less, no other. This, dear reader, is the Bachelor state of being, the already total self consciously satisfied as completeness, omniscience, uncontested and unchallenged love, entirety. Our entire education has conditioned us to believe that we are a thing, that we are a body, and that this body is a composite, made up of many things, that while the body can appear to be whole to the eye, it still can lack various essentials, integral portions of itself. To education, the body is constantly endeavoring to lessen or overcome some phase of limitation, of lack, organic or otherwise. At one moment it is the nervous system that is under duress, at another it is the digestive system that is under fire, or the circulatory system that is either diseased, deficient, or both. It argues that the organs are not functioning as they should. The body is not receiving the necessary vitamins, minerals. There is too much tension. The blood pressure is not normal. The reflexes are dulled. The metabolism is impaired. The arteries are hardening. Old age is moving in, and so on. If it cannot discover a present cause for the trouble you are in, it will dredge up the past, blame it on your childhood experiences, upon heredity, psychology, racial tendency, or even upon divine law. For the human to escape from humanity is impossible. Disease, lack, limitation, duration, suppuration is the norm for flesh, for the grave is its goal. While education advances many theories as to how its sojourn may be prolonged, it never so much as suggests a possibility that death is not inevitable, or that man, humanity, the person, and the race is non-existent. The biological frame is the boundary of education's probe. Beyond this it cannot go. Why? Because education depends thereon for its own identification, authority, continuity, for nowhere else does it even pretend to exist. Truth knows naught of education, or of what it says. He who would know peace, life, singleness, bliss, must begin with fact, not fiction, education, his would-be sense of reality. He who is has no other to turn to, save his present and never-ending identity self. This precludes judging after the senses, which are but echoes of assumption. Reality does not start with a body, an organ, an atom, an urge. Reality begins with the single one, omnipresent awareness, the sole self wherein no lack, no limitation, no dream, no incompleteness or otherness can ever be. To this one alone, this all-inclusive consciousness, substance, aliveness, completeness, entirety, there is no impurity, adulteration, union, connection, marriage, adhesion, cohesion, attraction, repulsion, separation, division, or subdivision possible. Love is purity, singleness, wholeness. Love is not an attitude, a biological reaction, a racial provision, a chemical or physical attraction, an emotion, a simulated stock in trade bartered by gender, need, fulfillment, destiny, time, inclination, or the demands of a physiological system. Love is not atomic, not organic, not material, not sentimental, not the outgrowth of romanticism, imagination, racial perpetuity, or divine command. Bachelor God means single God. Bachelor mind means single mind. Bachelor life means single life. Bachelor self means single self. Bachelor means single all wherein no otherness exists, either as a belief, a claim, a dream, or an assumption. Single means one only, and herein no other mind can be, no other sense can be, no otherness whatever even pretends to have entity. Singleness means purity, authority, the one alone wherein there is no challenge, no opposition, no contradiction, no denial. Singleness being totally itself, the one self I am, no stalling is possible, no lack is possible, no fall, no rise, no constriction, no restriction, no contrition, no contribution, no extraction, no contraction can ever be suggested or experienced. Singleness means love in its total, uninterrupted, omnipresent fullness, absolute action or being, inclusive of every thought, idea, item, thing, infinite intelligence conceives, perceives by virtue of its omnifunctioning ability to think, imagine. Well, these ideas, thoughts, things do not in any manner contribute aught to the one alone substance, mind, self, all. Still, as consciousness has the ability to conceive, perceive, it fully acts in accordance with its omnipotent wisdom. Should infinity, all, fail to be totally itself, by not totally using its absolute potential, wisdom, awareness, it would instantly have erred, committed sin, done evil, hence become the unwhole one, namely Satan, devil. Truth never becomes what it is not. Truth never becomes less than the whole one. Hence truth is never evil, never errs, never is human, mortal, man, never in lack, want, privation, nor is such ever in truth. Truth is never dualistic, namely that which is and equally that which is not. And this, dear reader, is all there is to belief, assumption, presumption, mortality, sin, devil, Satan, humanity, ignorance, limitation, fear, disease, death, or hell. Merely an inane dream that reality can be, yet within it there is an absence of what is forever present. Education would condition us to accept that death is in the presence of life, nay, deals a blow against life, while depending wholly thereon, for its entire definition and destiny. That poverty can be, in the presence of wealth, depends thereon, meanwhile denying its purported sponsor. That evil, unwholeness, operates as a tempter, a temptation within reality, being, isness, promising more and better things, states, conditions, better than perfection itself, more than all already includes. Regardless of our sense of the word single and the word all, we blithely insist that there is not only one omnipresent infinite self, life, spirit, I, but that there is also a lesser one, another self, an identity living within an organization of things called body, and that this smaller mind can halt, block, stall, circumvent, and thwart the one self I eternally am. We equally assume that this smaller mind, this ignorant identity, this finite lack-laden conniving sense can accept truth when it will, as much or as little as it decides is good for it, and that truth is helpless within its pretended presence. It would have us believe that we are married to this small self, that we cannot survive without it, nay, that it is our self. It would say that only by virtue of its cleverness, its evolution, its progress in civilizing itself, we have entity, identity, a selfhood, a place in the sun, a goal, a destiny, a hereafter. This falsity would lay claim to being able to do whatever truth can do, even if on a lower level, and that it can actually outstrip God, for it has the power of veto in its dealings with God. Human sense would have us accept that the marriage of my mind self to my body self is for as long as life lasts, and that this is a divine provision. It would say that it also can marry or unionize with many others in one form or another, that we do not live unto ourselves alone, but that in unity there is strength. These assumptions are as futile as they are untrue. There is no duality, no impurity, no otherness existent within mind. the being that is the sole all-inclusive self, the all, the one substance, mind, omniscient life, is not dependent on aught, not even its own ideas, thoughts, things, bodies, items, worlds, conceptions. Mind is totality, omniactively being all, one single, entire, omnipresent perfection. There is no lesser mind, no greater mind. There is no other mind, no other existence, naught beside reality. This does not mean that marriage as we know it, as society has developed it, as the family has grown to rely upon it, will not continue for an unpredictable time. The purpose of this book is not to destroy marriage, criticize it, ridicule, or eradicate it. Our only purpose is to point out that single means just that, one only, one alone, all, the absolute self that is I already, now, here, forever. There is no wait for a divorcement from a human self, from human lack, limitation, fear, disease, otherness, impurity, disaster, the grave. There is no wait possible where reality is concerned, and there is none beside with whom to be concerned. Reality is what you be this very moment. It cannot be changed. One cannot escape from existence, identity, reality, that I am. One cannot be what is not I. One cannot be what is not. The teaching of education via religion would have us assume all have sinned, hence all must pay the price for sinning. It would have us assume we can work our way out of difficulty, evil, the way of error, and up to the throne of God. This is impossible, for omnipresence, being all one alone, perfection here and now, does not sin by denying its own allness, does not play prodigal to itself, does not lie, steal, commit adultery by refuting what life eternally is, namely changeless, wholeness. How then can love retract what it cannot know or be, make restitution for what is not taking place, return from whence it never is, rise above degradation which it precludes, and be united with itself when it remains forever one, whole, unchallenged, indivisible, inseparable self, wherein no rupture, hence no patchwork is required or possible? Do you assume you are your body? Do you assume your body operates, functions, acts because of the organs within it, the systems that keep it going, the relationship between the genes, chromosomes, molecules, atoms which go to make it up? Do you assume that there is a soul, a conscience, a life or identity imprisoned within this body from which escape is only possible at death? Certainly, most of us, if not all humans, have been conditioned to accept some phase of the above, if not its entirety. We believe we are wed to the body and the small mind nestling somewhere within that instrument. We assume that whatever that soul, that mind, or that body does or leaves undone, we must answer for in some manner. We assume we are free agents only within the framework of refusing good or accepting it, but strictly in accord with human protocol, custom, mores, a limited, restricted, conditional, or partial freedom, which is no freedom at all. Education does not teach bachelorhood, singleness, but inescapable marriage. Not an item, thing, body can exist or can maintain continuity save via marriage, a dependence upon a multitude of adjoining items, bodies, things. Naught can live unto itself alone, humanly speaking, for no thing is alone in this confusion. To education, every item, thing, is the product of additional items, things. The would-be stuff of which these items, things, are composed is reputed to be substance, essence, yet at no point in reality, substance is any item, thing, body, a composition. Are you willing to begin with singleness, oneness, aloneness, allness, love, or do you wish to cling to multiplicity, duality, confusion, darkness, ignorance, matter? To try to see reality from the front row of confusion is to have no focus, hence to see naught. Only as you start with reality as it is, the sole individual I that I am, does reality have being. To expect truth to make sense to idiocy is nonsense. While most of our readers may declare they are willing to admit that spirit is single, one, alone, all, are they as willing to admit there is but one self, one life, one entirety, which is the only being I am? Are you consistently persistent in beginning with one alone, wherein there is no duplication, no reproduction, no cycle, no vacuum, no lack, no refutation of reality as it is? Are you without reservation, without evasion, when you declare what truth is, conceding that all of truth is, hence none of it, the self I am, is missing, absent, unpresent? Is there another mind, another self, a lesser one that stalls, that refuses reality as entirely here, entirely operative, wholly unchallenged or uncontested? Do you have doubts, misgivings, a sense of hesitancy to act as the sole one present? Do you assume we are making reference to a body sense of personal isness? Do you assume that we mean that mind within the physique is I, and that mind is omni-action? Never. Only truth knows that it is all, for omniscience is all, the alone mind that is total wisdom, hence that is the only individual existent, the sole I. To omniscience there is no additional mind, life, substance, existence, or lack of existence. There is only reality, being. This leaves no contest, no contestants, no victim, no victory possible, for it leaves no difference, no separation, no division, no contradiction possible. One, all, wholeness is not divided against itself, never challenges or refutes itself, never questions or doubts itself. Reality is complete, whole, entire, and there are no vacuums, no additional minds, no half-minds, partial minds, simulated minds, in single reality. He who is consistent with truth never can assume he has a small finite mind, a physical or material mind that can claim, believe, presume, or experience aught. The only mind, being, spirit, I, never contends with nor is visited with the suggestions of limitation, disease, disaster, death. These seeming situations are the norm for ignorance, vacuity, falsity, the would-be dream confusions and confections. Never does any sense of lack, humanity, divisibility cross the threshold of omnipresence, perfection, action. Do you persist in admitting that while spirit is single, perfect, whole, active, present, still there is another mind, sense, experience going on that is completely the reverse of reality, affluence, joy, bliss, eternality, changeless harmony? Do you persist in arguing, starting each thought with a but? Do you still excuse your dishonesty in robbing truth, life, love, self, I, of its totality in action, its preclusion of aught finite or dimensional, ailing, diseased, dying, dead, by clinging to the old cliché that it is because of my conditioning, my education, habit, because I am still human, and will remain so until I demonstrate to the contrary? Do you still persist in starting with what the dream purportedly projects as its concoction, namely many bodies, each equipped with free choice because endowed by its creator, the dream, with a personal mind of its own, and each such mind clinging to a variation of lack, wants, limitations, privations, ambitions, frustrations, goals, destinies? Do you still insist that time plays a great part in your scheme of things? Do you assume that there is a journey to be taken, a road to be traversed, a mountain to be climbed, habits to be cast off, victories won, an ultimate crown awaiting you if you are faithful over a few things? If so, where is omnipresence now? Where is the alone all-being, the sole spirit, mind, life, that is the individual self that is I, that pure, unchallenged, unchanging potency that includes its universe, and beside which there cannot be more or less, no other? For how long is this double-mindedness to continue? Can such actuality ever exist, there being but one single entirety? Does singleness, oneness, wholeness, infinity, all, ever subscribe to another or others? If the answer is from anywhere save from unchallenged truth, all wherein no adulteration can be, it is not an answer, but is mere assumption, on the part of that mind which is not mind. Is any such conclusion valid, or is it invalid, invalid, sick? The reality that is your very being now, the self that alone is I, present in its entirety, perfection, completeness, never is touched by aught beside because naught else exists. One, truth, reality, intelligence does not have to rid itself of evil or the workings of evil, for there is only truth acting. This means there never was evil or its handiwork, nor ever a mind to know or experience such. This, and this alone, is honesty with truth. Any attempt, still, to cling to evil, whip it out of the temple, body, experience, would-be mind, or person, is folly, and a bald denial of truth, is dishonesty with love, is adultery, and adding to and a taking from the single purity that is unchallenged, unfallen, unchanging, omnipresent love. Healing, in reality, is the easiest possible experience one encounters as soon as he actually begins with what truth is. Why? Because he instantly discovers that in omnipresent reality there is no fall, no departure or denial of changeless purity, ever-operative perfection, and there is no additional mind existent, hence none to assume a fall, evil, a change from good to bad, or bad to good, health to disease, or vice versa. Reality is already whole, perfect, entire, and no change is needed or possible. And this being is the very self you be, I am. No human operates on the basis of single goodness, one good, one God, one life, one substance, one self, one I. Humanity is predicated wholly upon duality, many, diversification, division. Good is varied, conditional, and stems from a variety of things in relationship with a complexity of other things. To the would-be human sense, good is never single, alone, entire, by itself, but is dimensional, relative, dependent upon the reaction of a finite mind in its dealings with things. Education, finite conclusions, no matter on what based or how foundationless, tells us what is good and what is bad. Because we accept its verdict, we assume that if we eat this, it will be good for us. If we drink that, it will be good for us. If we breathe so-and-so, it will be good for us. If we systematize our daily rounds, regiment our intake and outgo, observe all the do's and don'ts, things will be good for us, and if not, then the reverse will befall us. We take unto ourselves a mate that supposedly is good for us. We sometimes lay off that mate, and that seems to be equally, if not even more, good for us. Are any of these assumptions, beliefs, convictions in accord with truth, good, single reality, pure love, oneness, unchanging fact? No. It is astonishing what we do on the assumption that it is good for us. In fact, there is no thing good for us, no thing that can ever become God. You do not have a God. You do not have a good God thing. No thing is good, God. Only God, good, is good. Do not assume that life, mind, consciousness are mere possessions, items, or gifts that you own. Never. Mind is what you be. Life is what you be. Consciousness is what you be. If reality is not your identity right now, then you have no existence, no being. Awareness is identity itself, being I. Action, being totally active, is the sole self that is I. Existence, fully functioning, is omnipresence, being I.